Okay, so we're here on page 35 of our worksheets. Remember again, all of these worksheets are due tomorrow. If you have any questions on any of the problems, please make sure you ask today during class. Alright, so page 35, again, the page numbers will be right up here. It says use a guess and check strategy to solve each problem. Skates. For exercises 1 and 2, use the information below. Shows the income a sporting goods store received in 1 week for skate sharpening. Okay, so here we see it has cost to sharpen hockey skates, cost to sharpen figure skates, total pairs sharpened, and total income from skate sharpening. How many pairs of hockey skates and figure skates were sharpened during the week? So this is going to be one of our classic tables that we're going to draw for guess and check. So here I'm going to put hockey skates, and remember that is $6 a pair. Here I'm going to put figure skates, and that's going to be $4. And then we want to make sure our total is $1,096, and that these two added together are 214 skates. So why don't we start with like 100 of these. So we'll do 100 times 6, and then 114 figure skates. So let's say this is 600 because 100 times 6 is 600. 114 times 4. I don't know that off the top of my head, so I'm going to do a little math over here. 4 times 1. 456. 456. Okay, so 600 plus 456 equals 1,056. So we're pretty close, but we're not quite there. So why don't we try this? Why don't we try 114 of these and 100 of these? So 114 times 6, we're going to get 24, 61, 8, 684 plus 400. We get 1,084. Alright, so we're still a little bit short. Remember, this is too low, this is too low. What's the total we need? We need 1,096. Alright, so why don't we up this one over here? If we up this one by, let's say, 120 times 6, that would make this 94 times 4. Does that equal 1,096? Okay, so 120 times 6, 120 times 6, we got 0, we got 12, we got 7, okay, so that's 720. 94 times 4, we got 16, remember these are all multiplying, 36, 37, plus 376. Does 720 plus 376 equal 1,096? Ooh, it looks like it does. Yay! So we know that how many pairs of hockey skates and figure skates were sharpened during the week? Well, remember, we can't just leave our answer like this. This doesn't tell us anything. This just says there's a chart. That's cool. So we need to write our answer in a sentence form or something that lets myself or Miss Winkett know that we know that this is that you got the right answer. So let's move this down. Oh, Jesus. Okay. So how could we do that? We could say, well, they got 120 pairs hockey skates, and 94 pairs figure skates. And that should be your answer, not just the chart. You need to make sure you always rewrite your answer and put a little box around it. Now, number 2, it says, how much more did the sporting goods store earn sharpening hockey skates than figure skates? Well, let's change my color so that we don't get confused. So it's basically saying, how much did they earn sharpening hockey skates? Well, we know they earned $720 because 120 times 6 is 720. So 720 for hockey skates. And we want to know, how much more did they earn doing hockey than figure skates? Well, basically, we're finding the difference between them. And what would they earn doing figure skates? They earned 376. So we're going to do a subtraction problem to figure out what the difference is. So let's rewrite this down here. Borrow 10, 4, 1 minus 7, can't do, got to borrow, make this 11. 11 minus 7, that's 4, 6 minus 3. So our answer is 344. What does that mean? That means they earned 344 more dollars, more sharpening hockey skates over figure skates. So that is the answer to number 2 right here. Okay, so now we're on page 36. We're going to do number 1. It says 100 tickets were sold for the school play. Adults' tickets were $5 each. Students' tickets were $2 each. The total earned from ticket sales was $290. How many adults' tickets were sold? Remember our 4-step plan. This is from the very first section that we did. And notice how all of these are going into our chart. So it says understand. What do you know? And I'm just going to start to make our chart. And what do you know? That's what goes up here. We know that adults' tickets, A for adults, are $5 each. And we know that students' tickets, S for students, are $2 each. We also know that they sold how many tickets of these? They sold 100 tickets. So we know that adults' tickets plus students' tickets needs to be 100. And what else does the problem tell us? It tells us that they made a total of $290. So notice the understand portion of this is all right up here in the top part of your chart. Okay, now we plan it. What are you trying to find? How can you figure it out? What are we trying to find? How many adults' tickets were sold? How are we going to figure it out? We just made a chart. We're doing guess and check. Now solve. Make a guess. Calculate the total. Change your guess if needed. That's when we estimate, is it high? Is it low? What's going on? So how many adults' tickets were sold? Why don't we say there was 50 adults' tickets at $5 a piece, and that would make it 50 students' tickets at $2 a piece. 50 times 5 is 250, plus 2 times 5, that'd be, or 2 times 50, that'd be 100. That equals 350. That's too high. Now it says change your guess if needed. Okay, let's change it. This is too high, so probably less adults' tickets. Let's do 25 adults' tickets, which would make it 75 students' tickets at $2 a piece. Okay, so 25 times 5 is 125. And 75 times 2 is 150. And that would be 275. So that's too low. All right. Let's go with 30. 30 adults tickets, 30 times 5. And that would be 70 students tickets. Let's see what that gives us. That gives us 150 plus 140, which I believe is 290. Oh yeah, we're done. Okay, so how can you be sure that your answer is the only possibility? Well, we know. We just checked 50 and 25, and we know that the only one that's working is right here, 30 and 70. This is the only combination that will get 100 tickets sold at $290. $290. Now, how many adults tickets were sold? Remember, we always have to go back and answer this main question. We can't just put this chart and that's our answer. So how many adults tickets were sold? Well, let's go back to our chart and see. Oh, for this combination of 150 plus $140 to equal 290, 30 adults tickets were sold. So the answer to the actual question is 30 adults tickets. And we're done. On the rest of these, you're basically using, make sure on number 2 you're actually writing. Remember, this should be something that we should be able to hand to your English teacher. Explain why the guess and check strategy would be useful in solving this problem. You don't even have to actually solve it. You just have to say how many tricycles and bicycles. Oh, you do have to actually solve it. So explain why you use the guess and check strategy. For all of these, you're just making a chart. Remember, when in doubt, go back to the 4-step plan. What do you know? And what you know goes at the top. Plan, what are you trying to find? How are you going to figure it out? Make a guess, solve it out. If it's too high, lower something. If it's too low, put something up higher. How do you know that your answer is the only possibility? Because you just made valid guesses that didn't work out. So, if you have any questions, please talk to one of us, and have a great day.